Hey, this is Matt, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to install an operator into a Kubernetes cluster and instantly get visibility to all the network traffic going into and out of all the services, no holds barred. That includes encrypted traffic, API calls, database calls, all of that stuff at the end of this video. We're going to be collecting that selectively and then turning it into local markdown files on my local machine that I can use for observability or for replay and a bunch of other purposes. Now, I'm going to assume you already have a Speedscale account because that only takes 2 minutes to set up and is free. Now, you're going to want to go ahead and install the Proxymock tool using Homebrew, or if you're on Linux, using apt-get, whatever, right? You're going to want to go ahead and have that installed, which there are instructions below. Now, once that's installed, I'm going to make sure that my Minikube is running. It takes about 5 minutes to set up Minikube, and there's a link to it below. It just is a local Kubernetes cluster that's small enough to fit on your laptop, which sounds counterintuitive if you know Kubernetes. Now, once that's installed, I'm going to want to install the Speedscale operator first. And the operator is nothing more than a control system that allows us to turn things on and off. Okay, so the only thing that's really important here is that you set your cluster name and that you set ebpf.enable to true. Now, this is actually a command line you can copy out of the Speedscale console and then just modify it with what you want. Now, once that's done, I'm not going to hit enter because I already did it, but once that's done, you're going to have the Speedscale operator running in your cluster. And you can check that by looking in the Speedscale namespace and getting the pods. The operator is the thing I just said, which is the maestro, the master of ceremonies for this. The second thing is NetTap, which is the actual eBPF daemon set collector. So you want to make sure that's healthy. And then the actual data collection happens through the forwarder. Now, once that is installed, I'm going to run Proxymock Web, which is going to open an interactive experience where I can go and do all kinds of clever things. Now, Proxymock, when it starts up, it says, I don't have any traffic yet, so where would you like me to get it from? Now, there's all kinds of options, including pulling over the cloud from some remote environment you can't even see, recording locally using a proxy, or in our case, diving into a Kubernetes cluster that we can connect to. Now, I start off by looking at Minikube when I click on the topology view, and I select my namespace as, well, whatever, but in this case, let's just say Speedscale. Now, when I click on one of the namespaces, I get a very not useful service map that shows me all the connections that each one of these deployments are talking to. Now, each one of these represents a network connection, and it represents a remote endpoint. If we can see it, we learn more about it. If we don't, then we just say it's run outside of your environment. Now, I personally like to get real work done, so I like to look at tabular data. So I'm going to switch over here and change to tabular data. Now, in your example, you're probably going to be connecting to something more interesting than just a basic Minikube instance. And so I'm going to go ahead and go to one of my noisier environments, which is a staging environment for me. So I click to connect to my staging decoy environment, and then I go ahead and I select the banking app, which is a noisy app, lots of things going on. Now, I see all of my deployments, like before, and I instantly get a report of all of the connections in and out from there, and I can actually get network information and destinations. And again, no instrumentation, no Fluent bit, no deployment of all that other stuff or configuration. This just comes out of the box. Now, when I click on one of these deployments, banking accounts, I can see a bunch of information about it that you'll see in your Kubernetes console. So things like which pods are running. You can also, as time goes by, these graphs will start to fill in, and you'll be able to see memory usage over time, CPU, and network traffic over time, which is super useful. You can also see things like events, the config maps, and actually a live tail of the logs as they go along. But what I'm actually interested in is getting granular detail, because maybe I'm hunting a problem. So I click the Live Tap button. Once the Live Tap button starts, I can see this number's going up, which shows my forwarder is communicating, and I see that I'm starting to receive RR pairs, or request response pairs. Now, I don't want an enormous set, so I'm going to keep it relatively limited. What just happened is I reached out to a remote forwarder, or part of that package we just installed, and I said, pay attention to this workload, and then give me everything going in and out of this service. And that means that I now get a almost postman-like interface, except driven by real traffic. Now, the simplest stuff is like all your HTTP traffic, but we actually are able to record things that are not obvious, such as database connections, and you can see that here. When I click on one of these database connections, I can see that the Postgres information is actually decoded, and I'm able to see information about it, and I can actually tell what the SQL statement was and what was being done. So this can actually get pretty handy. Now, all the information that I can use from this, we have a series of videos after this showing how you can find all kinds of things like hunt for PII or use this for actual observability use cases. But this is a quick way to get started with Proxymock for free. Hope you enjoyed it.